All right, y'all, we're going to have some fun with today's post-game flow. First movement we have up is going to be a 6-point push-up, which we're going to do a whole video on this later, with a flow right into down dog. So as you can see, I go full body laying on the ground, start with a push-up, keeping the knees down, then lift the knees and go into a plank and drive myself into that down dog position, pushing those heels toward the floor, tucking my chin to my chest, back into that plank position, knees back down, and I'm gonna ride all the way in. Now notice how I'm burying my shoulder blades back and down, keeping my chin tucked, and driving that push-up plank, and then pushing into down dog nice and slow. I wanna make sure I feel that opening up the back of my calves, my hamstrings, maybe even a little bit into my lower back and my T-spine. Once again, back into that plank, knees back down, keeping that core tight, and return to deck. Now, when we talk about push-ups, I feel as if it's important that we go over the push-in position. The hands should be a little bit closer to the midline and not so far out to the side. And that's what's going to lead to having a really solid chest pump. Not only that, but getting the shoulders into the right position and helping us understand what a push-up really is supposed to be like. Knees back down, keeping that core tight, and once again, I am back down. Moving into the second part of this flow, we're going to go quadruped shoulder taps. So I get in my quadruped position, something you should be familiar with by now. Shoulder tap left, shoulder tap right. And then I'm going to do a sit out. Sit out is a little bit of a new movement for us, as well as this sit into child's pose right here. And then I'm going to come up to a double kneeling pose, bring that left leg out, and open up that right psoas. Notice how I put my hand on my belly as I'm driving myself forward. That's to make sure that I'm keeping that core tight and I'm not arching my back. Otherwise, I'm not going to get that stretch deep into the psoas that I'm looking for. Once again, back into quadruped, tap, tap. When you go to do your sit out, it's going to sound strange to say this, but it's something that you just have to kind of observe and then try yourself. You are going to be working on rotating the entire body and reaching for that toe. Feels kind of like you're breakdancing a little bit, which is a lot of fun, but at the same time, it is a movement and it's going to be helping us open up rotators and just kind of getting some overall good hip movement in. There we go, a little bit deeper into the psoas stretch on that side the second time. Same thing with this side. I'm going to keep that core tight. There goes my hand on my belly and I'm driving that knee forward, making sure I'm squeezing my glute on that back side as I drive myself forward to prevent myself from arching my back again. Again, quadruped shoulder taps, sit out, reach for the opposite leg with the opposite arm there. Boom. Got kind of funky on that sit out. I think I foot slipped a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and sit back into child's pose again. All of these movements complement one another greatly. The sit out gets a little bit of rotation in with a little bit of core stability. The child's pose is going to help us to open up that T-spine. And then lastly, this psoas opener here as I'm driving forward is really going to help to open up the hips. And that's what's going to really be a game changer for us after a long, grueling session streaming, or maybe just playing with the fam, whatever you guys are doing. But notice how every round I get a little more serious about this psoas opener. That's because I want at first to only go to the limit. I want to stretch myself to the limit. I don't want to push too much past that because after sitting for a while, there's a good chance that your psoas and your hip flexors may be a little bit tight. Again, I'm going to go one more time. Shoulder tap, sit out. Much better sit out on that side that time. Back into quadruped, knees down. I'm going to use my arms to drive myself into that child's pose. Really feel it open up that mid-back. And then last round of the psoas opener right here, I'm going to be driving forward. I think I actually managed to pretty much get my front leg into what would appear to be my squat position on this one. Yeah, I got good ankle dorsiflexion. Y'all might have to purchase that. No, but seriously though, the psoas opener is a really great tool for closing out a session. Hope you guys enjoyed the post game. We'll see you for a pregame soon.